Hey everyone, I'm Sham and welcome to Sham's Makeup. And if this is the very first time you're tuning into my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel. So today we're going to look at a foundation review, and the foundation that I'm going to review today is from Nars, and this is their new Soft Matte Foundation. So this foundation recently was released, and this foundation retails at $40, and there are about 35 shades in this foundation range. So when it comes to Nars foundations, usually I pick out the shade Tahoe, but Tahoe does have a yellow undertone to it, and if you do not know already, I do have a neutral undertone. So this time round I picked out the shade Medium Deep, which is 2.6 Huahine. So I do hope that I pronounced the name correctly. I'll list down every details on the description bar below for your reference. So this foundation is a 45 ml of product, which is 1.5 fluid ounce. So the description of this particular foundation, it does say that it's a new take on matte, comfortable 16-hour wear, full natural looking, coverage, true color, oxidization resistant, transfer proof, shine proof for normal, combination and oily skin type. And it also says that it's non-comedogenic and it's dermatologist tested. So we're going to test this foundation, and I'm going to share my thoughts on this particular foundation. So we are also going to do a wear test. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to share with you guys what I personally think and what's the outcome of this particular foundation on my combination to dry skin. So let's just very quickly get into it. So I've already applied my face primer, so I used a sample size of the Dior Backstage Face and Body Primer. So we're going to apply the foundation on the top. So for this particular foundation, I'm going to use a beauty blender. So I personally feel that for a matte foundation, I would prefer a beauty blender for my combination to dry skin. So let's just get into it. So this is how the foundation looks like, packaging. It has a kind of like plasticky tube packaging. Each foundation retails at $40, and there are about 35 shade range in this particular foundation. So this is how the tube looks like. I'm just going to take one small squirt at the back of my hand. So with the packaging, it's pretty handy. You can travel easily with it without worrying it will get damaged. So let's get into it. The reason I picked out this particular shade is because I kind of have more of a neutral undertone than a yellow undertone to my skin. That's the reason I picked out this particular shade, because it has more of a neutral undertone. So this is like one pump I'm applying on both sides of my face area. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin, so let's see. So I'm just using the beauty blender to blend them in. So I do have like dryness on the sides of my mouth, so I noticed that the foundation does get dry on the sides. Looking at the mirror that I have in front of me, I feel that the foundation looks like you already have powder on your skin. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more just to see if it does feel heavy or does it look cakey on the skin. So I'm just bringing it down towards my neck area. I do feel that it looks dry on my nose area and also the sides of my mouth. I'm just going to lightly blend this foundation on my nose area and my mouth area. But it definitely gives a good amount of coverage. Like, it does give you like a pretty good, decent, I would say medium to full coverage. So I'm just going to blend the foundation in nicely so that it doesn't look heavy or cakey on the skin. As of now, since it's a matte foundation, it does look like it's flat on the skin without any other makeup over the face area. So I'm actually going to apply the rest of the face makeup and then come back and share with you guys what I personally think about this foundation. So I personally feel with this particular foundation, after applying my entire face makeup, since I do have a combination to dry skin, I do tend to get oily, especially when the weather is a little bit more humid. But when the weather is a little bit on a colder side, that's when I get my dryness more. So I am going to actually wear this foundation a couple of hours, and then I'm going to come back and do a check-in and then share my final thoughts on this particular foundation with you guys. I personally feel that when I actually apply some blushes over the foundation, it adds a little bit of definition to my skin instead of just looking very flat. So for me, I personally feel that this foundation would not work on dry skin girls. For me, I personally feel that combination skin, you can still make this foundation work. But for dry skin girls, this is definitely a no-no. For oily skin girls, this foundation would work pretty well because it does give you a mattifying look if that's what you kind of prefer. Fast forward down the road, I did use a translucent powder to set it in. This is the Shiseido Synchro Skin translucent powder. And I do think that you do not need to set it with a powder. It doesn't look like you need to set it with a powder for now. So I'm going to wear it a couple of hours and then come back and share my thoughts with you guys. So till then, I'm actually wearing the new Nars eyeshadow palette in Extreme Effects on my eye area today. So I lightly dusted the eyeshadows in. So this is how the palette looks like. It's a beautiful palette. So if you guys want to see a tutorial and also a review on this, make sure you leave me a comment on the comment box below. And also check out my ColourPop foundation review, which I'll link right here. And I'll see you guys again in a couple of hours. So hey everyone, we are back to share the final verdict of the Nars Soft Matte Foundation. So I have been wearing this foundation for a good 6 to 7 hours, and obviously I did not put them to test like 16 hours, but it's a good fair amount of hours that I've put them to test. So number one, I was wearing a mask. So literally my mask got all dirty and gunky. So it did transfer to my mask. So that's a normal thing with most of the foundation that I wear these days. They tend to transfer to the mask. That's the reason I hardly put on makeup over my face area unless I feel that I really want to. So that's number one. So number two, I'm actually looking at the mirror right in front of me. I have a small compact mirror right here. I do see that it kind of like transfers towards the sides of my nose area, but not in a bad way. Like it kind of like, it feels that it still has some foundation over that area, but it has moved a little bit. And then on the sides of my mouth, I do have dryness. So I still can see that the dryness is emphasized at the sides of my mouth. So that's the thing, because I do have a combination to dry skin yet again. Over my face area, I do not see any issues. I do see the foundation has worn pretty well on my face area, except for the dry areas of my face. That's where I noticed that it does emphasize on the dryness. It has not moved from my face area. Neither do I feel oily or neither do I feel sticky. So that's a plus point for the foundation. So overall, this foundation is a good foundation. I would personally recommend it to those of you who have oily skin or if you have a combination skin. So for those of us who have combination to dry skin, I personally would say that you need to moisturize your face in a right manner, and the primer needs to be a little bit more on the hydrating side because this is a matte foundation. I would not again say that this is like a super matte foundation that will last you like looking matte throughout the day, because I do see that I got a little bit shiny on my face area and my nose area and my forehead area as well. You can see some shine, but the shine again is not in a bad way. It doesn't really look greasy or oily, it just brings a natural shine through. So if you would ask me, do I like this foundation? I don't hate this foundation, but I am not like a hardened fan of this foundation. I can see myself wearing this foundation when the weather is still humid. But probably when the weather gets a little bit cooler and then we move into the winter months, this would not be my best friend because my skin will be more dry during those months. So I do hope that you found my review on the Nars Soft Matte Foundation being helpful for you guys to decide if you want to purchase this foundation. If you do, definitely leave me a comment on the comment box below and give me a thumbs up. To my very next one, goodbye.